President Biden is in Europe. He is talking about climate, but at home, his climate agenda is at a standstill. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi is pushing for a vote on the infrastructure package and the social spending bill as soon as tomorrow. But when Democrats will be able to get Senators Joe Manchin, Kyrsten Sinema, and others, along with Bernie Sanders, to agree and sign off on the package is still unclear. Joining me right now is Louisiana Congressman. He is House Minority Whip Steve Scalise. Congressman, it's always a pleasure to see you. Thanks so much for being here.
Good morning. Great to be back with you, Maria.
Can you tell me anything about whether or not we will see a vote on these packages tomorrow?
Well, tomorrow would represent the sixth different time that Nancy Pelosi has promised a vote. I still think, like the other five, they're going to blow by it because they don't have the votes. And if you look, I mean, the Democrats in Washington right now have an insatiable appetite to spend trillions and trillions of dollars more money. But what they're seeing is the voters are revolting against all this big government socialism because it is the leader of inflation. People are tired of all the inflation already. They know that trillions more in higher tax, grocery store, everywhere else.
Yeah.
And so with the heels of this Virginia election, I think they've got real trouble getting the votes because they really don't have a package to rally around.
Well, it's interesting because you're living this inflationary story, right, Congressman? I mean, look at where we are in terms of the spikes in the price of gasoline, oil, food items, chicken. So you would think that that would give many people pause, given that all of the money that's been thrown at this economy already has stoked inflation. I spoke with Senator Rand Paul about this yesterday. Here's what he told me on Sunday Morning Futures. Watch this.
I think all along the Democrats have realized that it's 2 for 1, so they're not going to pass the infrastructure bill. They're holding it hostage to this bill. And I think that the progressives will get their way. The Bernie Sanders socialist wing of the party is going to get it all.
What about that, Congressman? Rand Paul saying, sure, they don't have agreement, but like at some point the progressives are running the show, so they will get everything they want.
Well, the far left progressives, socialists are running the show, but they're not getting everything they want because Democrats in swing districts are realizing if they vote for this, they can't go back home and explain it on top of all the trillions in spending they've already voted for because their voters are furious with all the spending because they know that's what's driving the inflation. And these are 1970s era numbers. I mean, when you see gasoline over 40% higher, people are paying over $5 a gallon in some places, and it keeps going up. When you look at what's happening at the grocery store and you're paying 20% more for bacon, those prices keep going up if they keep spending more money. And so the real answer is stop spending money and just focus on getting back the economy, secure the border, do your basic job. The debt ceiling is about to be hit again in just a few more weeks because they keep maxing out the credit card. And their answer is raise the limit, go get a few more credit. People are looking at them going, this is madness. Stop this crazy spending.
Meanwhile, what do you make of these approval ratings of President Biden continuing to sink? We've got a new NBC News poll that says 42% of Americans approve of his job. We've got the poll also saying 71% of those surveyed said that the country is headed in the wrong direction. These are pretty stark numbers, Congressman, going into that Virginia race where I know that is the topic of conversation among colleagues of yours and on the right and the left.
Yeah, Maria, and those are devastating numbers for President Biden because it really goes to his credibility in terms of the ability to deliver anything. Competence has become a real problem when you actually poll the competence of President Biden after Afghanistan and so many other failures domestically. People have lost faith in this president's ability to do the job and through on his promises. And remember, he ran saying that he would work with all parties. He would bridge the divide. He's still yet to even meet with House Republican leadership 10 months into his presidency. And the negotiation you're seeing right now in Washington, it's not a negotiation between Republicans and Democrats. It's a negotiation between far left big government socialists and liberals. And the moderates aren't involved and the Republicans aren't involved in these negotiations. And you wonder why people are looking going, hello, are you talking to anybody in the real world when you're having these negotiations? And unfortunately, they're not.
So you're saying that Biden has not met with House leadership in this 10 months?
He's yet to have a single meeting with House Republican leadership. And look, in President Trump's term, in his first year, he met multiple times with all leadership, House, Senate, Republican,
Wow.
Democrat, and multiple times to talk about issues. Again, they're about to run up on the debt ceiling again in just a few more weeks because they've done this year. They're not meeting with anybody on that deadline. The deadline's December 3rd. He's off in Europe right now telling people to wreck America's economy. You know, they're all flying jets. Look at the carbon footprint of this Glasgow summit where they're talking about global warming, and all of them are flying over there in jets. They could have zoomed this thing in. They're telling your kids that your kids can't go to school in person because the union bosses want that, but then they're going to all fly on private jets and, you know, big jets to go tell people to stop using fossil fuels because it's destroying the planet. And China, the world's biggest emitter of carbon, is exempt from all this stuff. They're not participating. They're laughing at the United States and the rest of the world.
Yeah, I think you make a great point. That shot of Biden's, vehicle lineup in Rome was just ridiculous. You've got these very tiny streets of Rome, and he's got 85 vehicles following him around, an 85 vehicle lineup for President Biden on the ground in Rome, which was, I had the same thought. Wow, I thought this was a climate summit. Congressman, it's good to see you. Thanks very much. We'll keep watching all of that. Congressman Steve Scalise this morning.